After spending the first day out on the shelf doing some blue water drifts, trying to find where those fish were at, but we didn't really have too much luck on the first day. It was kind of quiet. We saw lots of bait, but just none of those bigger predators. And we started the morning on a drift that I had the feeling would have held a few fish, and we ended up just shooting this trevally to chum up first. And it only took us 1 or 2 drifts before we ended up finding ourselves a few dogtooth tuna. And it was actually it all happened really quickly because we'd all just jumped in the water. I hadn't even had my gun loaded, and 2 big dogtooth tuna swam right underneath us, and we managed to get a shot into both of them. Only one got landed, unfortunately, as the other one started getting eaten by the sharks. But I'll play that on now and I'll show you guys what happened. And pretty much started the drift. Ivan's already taken a shot on a fish, and like all dogtooth tuna, they fight really hard, and you got to put a lot of work into getting these fish up to the surface. I quickly load up my gun to get down there as soon as I can to put a backup shot into this fish. Even though it looked like he had a pretty good solid shot in it, I just wanted to make sure that this fish definitely got into the boat. As I was diving down, I actually noticed a second dogtooth tuna swim right underneath me. You can always sort of notice them from a distance because they've got that white patch on their caudal fin, and on that left side you can kind of see him cruise right in. And I point to Cameron that there's a second one down there, and right after we get this fish up to the surface, Cameron puts his shot into that second doggy. And unfortunately, me having dealing with Ivans at the time, I wasn't there to readily get that line and sort of fight him straight away. And these fish obviously go straight down for the reef, and he kind of went straight under this ledge in about 20 to 25 meters. I fought for a little bit, and we eventually actually got the fish out, and as soon as we started pulling up, the sharks were just all over it already. And unfortunately, this doggy didn't make it to the surface, and it was a good fish that we ended up losing, and the sharks ended up taking the shaft and everything with it as well. And so that's just a prime example of how switched on you and your team needs to be when landing these fish. Obviously, in this scenario, it can be a little bit more difficult because 2 fish are in at the same time and you've only got 3 in the water. So if I would have known that Cameron was already down there about to shoot that second fish, I definitely would have done things differently. And on the next dive, we did the same drift, hoping to see a few more dogtooth tuna. It was relatively quiet after that, and we saw a few Spanish, but Cameron missed this one, and we really didn't see much else after that. We're not too sure if it was just that little peak in the morning where the fish were really active, or we sort of scared them off potentially. After that, we ran up into the reef flats and looked for a few reef fish. dogtooth tuna, and then MSP and footballer coral trout. Wait, now hold the coral trout, Andrew. That's how you catch a trout.
Is it big?
Is that because of that video?
Yeah.
Like that trout didn't grow?
I can still hold 2 fish here.
Hey, that was actually cool from the side here. Yeah, it was actually cool.
After chilling out on the beach for a bit, having some lunch, we went for 2 or 3 last dives. I had a few bommies that I wanted to check out as we'd recently had some luck on them with other big reds and that kind of thing. And surely enough, we went back to one of the rocks and there was another 9 kilo red on it, and Cameron, who had never shot a red before, actually landed his first red ever. And being this size, it was an absolute trophy for him. We were all super stoked and we couldn't believe it when we saw it. And congrats to Cameron for getting his first and probably one of the biggest reds we'll probably see for a while, or probably the biggest one we've actually ever seen on our boat.
Alright, what a way to end an epic trip. Cameron with an 81 centimeter red, me a 65 centimeter MSP, and I think it was a 97 centimeter dogtooth tuna. So, what an epic trip, epic fish.